Hello everyone. So, in continuation we're discussing about designing and evaluating with users. Now we are going to look at another usability technique, which is Think-Aloud Protocol. So in this particular lecture, we will be explaining the Think-Aloud Protocol as a method for assessing users' cognitive processes during the time they are performing a particular task. It can be done in two different ways, concurrent as well as retrospective think aloud, and we will understand how to choose the right variant for a particular study. We will learn about how to moderating the session, how to record it and analyze think aloud sessions while avoiding reactivity and moderator bias. So what is this think aloud protocol? It is a method that makes users' invisible reasoning observable as they work. So say for example, I need to operate this display unit in front of me, and whatever I am thinking in order to do it, so let's say I want to figure out where the touch on button is, and there are multiple buttons on both sides. So what I as a user, first time user, what I will do is, okay, this is a big digital board, maybe I can do touch operation also, so I might touch the screen. Okay, let me touch the screen. Oh, nothing working. Maybe I have to switch on some button. Let me check out the buttons over there. Okay, this button seems the one. I press the button and then again I start using my finger on top of it. So what I did was think aloud. So whatever was going in my mind as a first time user, rather than it being a dialogue going inside your mind, I think it aloud. And this is being captured by the researcher, and then the data will be analyzed. So users continuously verbalize their thoughts while performing the task, exposing their reasoning on real time in Think-Aloud protocol. The theoretical roots are grounded in Erickson and Simon's protocol analysis, which treats verbal reports as valid data on cognition. What it reveals is what the user's expectations were, what confusions arose, what decision points were there, and the mental model mismatches that observation alone cannot show. Why it matters, often called the single most valuable usability method, it answers why and not just the what part of it. So we can do think aloud concurrent as well as retrospective. So when we are doing concurrent think aloud, the user speaks while doing the task, capturing thought in the moment with no reliance on memory. However, the trade-off over here is verbalizing can slow down the task performance, and it can also slightly alter the behavior because it is not normal for us to verbalize it. If you perform a think aloud session, as you will see in the case example that we are going to show now, you will see that the user, because it is not normal for them to keep verbalizing whatever is going on in their mind, they might stop in between. So then the researcher might have to remind them in a neutral fashion that maybe you can tell me what is going on in your mind. What do you think can happen next? And when this researcher says that there is some kind of behavior alteration, I am being observed, so I need to behave in a certain manner. Or maybe that person is thinking that I am stupid, that I am struggling with this interface. So lots of such kind of feelings can come in, and as a result there is a reactivity to what the situation is, and as a result there will be an influence on the data that you are receiving. So you can also do retrospective think aloud. In this particular context, the user finishes the task silently, then narrates their reasoning while reviewing a recording. The trade-off over here is task behavior stays neutral, but the account depends on memory and may be rationalized after the fact. So let's look at how to run a think aloud session. So there are 5 steps involved to run a think aloud session. First step is, as usual, prepare, choose the variant, write goal-based tasks and set up screen and audio recording. Then you will do a brief and demonstrations to explain the method, model think aloud once, and stress there are no wrong answers. Then you give them the task, so give them realistic goal-based task, not step-by-step instructions. So natural reasoning emerges that way. So you can give the task like create a document and save the document. Then you can do your observation and give prompts if required. So watch quietly as possible. When the user falls silent for a long time frame, so let's say more than a couple of seconds, then the user then give them a neutral nudge, like you can say, what are you thinking? And you record all these aspects. So you will be capturing the screen, the audio. Throughout the user struggle is the data never rescues them. So what you can also do is at the same time capture their facial expressions while they are doing this activity, or you can also record their entire body movements while they are doing this activity. That will also give you further ideas that okay, in this 2 second, 3 second or 5 second, when they were not verbalizing, they were frustrated, they were trying very hard, and so on. So as many modalities that you can capture, the better this particular way of doing research happens. So the moderator keeps the user talking without ever leading, helping, or judging them. So we will go through a live Think Aloud session. What we will do is, it is a concurrent session on a real interface. We will take the map of design methods in a web application and ask a novice user to browse through it. So the variant is basically a concurrent Think Aloud session when the person is performing it. The recording that I am going to do is the screen plus the audio and with consent of my user. I am not doing a recording of the face at this point of time. Participant, it is a first time user of the app. The moderator stays neutral and never helps or leads. The duration of this whole session will be about 10 to 15 minutes and we will give them 4 short tasks. Why I am running it concurrently? So that I am able to capture the first time usage data, because there I think that it requires a lot of learning how to use the application. So a lot of glitches can come over there. But since this is a very complex application where they are supposed to do multiple tasks, understand how to identify the right kind of method, then put that method into their project, compare the methods. So it is a cognitively heavy task to do. So as moderator, I have to stay neutral and capture what they say in the moment. I will try not to help them because that is going to be the natural setting when they are actually using it. I will also have to give them some amount of time when they will actually not be verbalizing. So when we see after a few seconds, we will give them a nudge. So the briefing the participant. So I will tell them, as you work, please think aloud. Say whatever goes through your mind. There are no right or wrong answers. I am testing the interface, not you. I won't be able to help during a task. Just do what you would normally do. Before each click, tell me what you expect will happen. If you go quiet, I will gently ask what you are thinking. So you make the expectations clear. Specifically, the expectation regarding when you give a nudge, it is not about judging you. It is about reminding you that please verbalize your thought processes. And the fact that there will be no help during a task is also made very clear so that the user knows that they are not supposed to expect help. When you are going to give them nudges, you have to give them neutral nudges. So your neutral nudges can be worded in this particular fashion. What are you thinking? What did you expect to happen over here? What are you looking for? Please keep talking. Don't use words like help, explain, or rescue them. Lead, hint, or ask loaded questions. Or try to fill every silence. Give them some time to think. It is also important. Some pauses are okay because that is what is required. So let's look at the task that I am going to give this novice users. I am going to give them 4 tasks. First task is find a method, find a particular research method and check its details. So you have to also understand that you are testing testing this novice person. So your first task has to be designed in a manner that they are able to learn the web application better. Let's say if I had given the fourth task as the first task. The fourth task says find a method for running a diary study, narrate what you see and what you would do next. That would have been a way much more difficult task to do in the very beginning. So also think of the task complexities. The task should not be like a one-step task. So when you read it, find a method, find a particular research method and check its details. It is not a one-step method. When I say find a method, I am offering them multiple options. And I also see, okay, as soon as I say find a method, whether they go try to find the search button or they see that there are a lot of methods appearing, will they just go on scrolling through? On the left side there is also a filtering button. Do they go for filtering as an option as first and then find that method or not? So it might involve multiple different ways in which they achieve the particular task. Whereas in the fourth context, I have given them the same task but in a more specific manner, that you have to find this particular task, diary study, and then what do you think you can do next with it? My second task is build a shortlist. Shortlist 3 methods you would use early in a project, then open your shortlist to review it. The third task is compare and choose. From your shortlist, decide which two to run first by comparing them side by side. So let's get started with this.
This is a recorded concurrent Think-Aloud session. Our participant is opening the Map of Design Methods app for the very first time. I'll read the brief, and then I'll stay quiet and let them work. As you work, please think aloud. Say whatever goes through your mind. There are no right or wrong answers. I'm testing the interface, not you. I won't be able to help during a task. Just do what you'd normally do. Before each click, tell me what you expect will happen. And if you go quiet, I'll gently ask what you're thinking. Here's your first task. Find a particular research method and check its details.
Okay, so, map of design methods. I think this is going to be a big list of research methods that I can look through and pick from.
What are you looking for?
Let me get my bearings. There's a search box top right. 3 tabs up top. Explore, My Project, Compare. And down the left side there are filters. Data type, approach, design phase, effort. Lots going on, but it's fairly clean. Before I search, I'm a bit curious about these filters. I'll take attitudinal and see what it does. I expect it to narrow the list to attitude type methods. The list did change, but honestly I'm not 100% sure what attitudinal means in this context. Versus behavioral. I don't want to guess wrong. I'll just untick that and search instead. That feels safer. The task wants a particular method. So let me think of one. I'll go with interviews. I'll type interview in the search. I expect the list to filter down as I type, like a normal search. Oh, nice. It filtered straight away. Now it's showing 4 methods. Contextual inquiry, directed storytelling, interviews, and laddering. That was fast. No waiting. I want the details, so I'll click on interviews. I'm expecting either a new page or a pop-up that describes the method. There we go. A panel opened up over the page. And it's actually really thorough. A description, when to use, the steps laid out, strengths, and limitations.
Keep talking.
Let me read a bit. When to use, when you need deep, individual perspectives, steps, define objectives, develop a guide, recruit, conduct, analyze, strengths, rich qualitative data, limitations, time intensive to run and analyze. That tells me everything I'd want to know. I'd say I've found a method and checked its details. Task 1 feels done. I'll close this with the little X in the corner. And it closed back to the list. Good, the exit was obvious.
Thank you. Ready for the next one? Task 2. Shortlist 3 methods you'd use early in a project. Then open your shortlist to review it.
Early in a project, I'd want exploratory, generative methods. So now I need a way to save things. I'm guessing that little plus sign on each card adds it to my shortlist. Let me test that. I'll add interviews. Then scroll and grab contextual inquiry and card sorting. Each time I click the plus, I expect it to be saved somewhere. Okay, and look, the My Project tab up top now shows a number. It went up to 3 as I added them. That's good feedback. I can trust it's saved. Now it says, open your shortlist. I'll click the My Project tab. I expect to see my 3 saved methods listed. Right, my methods are here under My Selected Methods. But, wait, interviews is showing up twice. And contextual inquiry twice as well. Did I accidentally add them more than once?
What did you expect to happen?
I expected a simple flat list of my 3 methods, not each one appearing twice. Let me look closer. Ah, I see now. They're grouped by phase. There's a planning, scoping section and an exploration, synthesis section, and a method shows up under every phase it fits. So it's not really a duplicate. But for a second it genuinely confused me. There's a remove link under each one. So I could take any out. I'll leave them. I notice the filters are still sitting on the left, even though they don't seem to do anything on this tab. Anyway, my shortlist is here and I can review it. I'll call task 2 done.
Task 3. From your shortlist, decide which 2 to run first by comparing them side by side.
Side by side. There's a compare tab right there. I expect it to line my methods up in columns next to each other. Yes, exactly that. 3 columns. Interviews, contextual inquiry, card sorting, and each one lists data type, approach, effort, sample size, and the steps. This is handy.
What are you thinking?
Let me actually compare. I'm choosing 2 to run first. Early in the project, I want to understand real behavior in context. So contextual inquiry and interviews both fit. Card sorting feels more about structuring information later on. The effort row helps too. Interviews is medium. Card sorting is low. If I were really tight on time, I might reconsider. But for early, behavioral insight, I'll go with contextual inquiry and interviews. That side-by-side view made the decision genuinely easy. Task 3, done.
Last task. Find a method for running a diary study. Narrate what you see and what you do next.
A diary study. I know that one. Users log entries over days or weeks. I'll just search for it like before. I fully expect it to come up like the others did. I'll clear the search and type diary study. It says showing 0 of 97 methods. And the whole area below it is just blank, empty. And there's no message. Nothing saying, no results found, no suggestion to try a different word. Nothing. For a second I actually thought the page had broken.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, Did I mistype it? Or maybe they just don't have a diary study in here? The trouble is, the blank screen doesn't tell me which of those it is. I'm a bit stuck.
What did you expect to happen?
My workaround would be to give up on search and browse the filters instead. Maybe there's something diary-like under a data type or phase. I'll clear the search box and go back to the full list. Okay, back to all 97 methods. I'd scan the exploratory ones for something diary-shaped. But the point is, the search gave me absolutely no help when it found nothing. So, to narrate the ending, the app couldn't find diary study, and more importantly, it never told me why. Or what to try next. That empty screen is the thing I'd flag.
Thank you. That was the last task.
So now that you have gone through the whole session, you can clearly see that certain degree of pauses are allowed. In order to condense the whole session, I have allowed much smaller pauses, but in practice you can allow little longer pauses as well. Now once this whole session is complete, I will create the observer coding sheet. So I need to map it down onto 4 different parameters: expectations, confusions, error, workarounds. So you saw on the video already which I had prepared, I had already marked those points on the bottom. If you still have confusion about it, you can again go back to that section of this video and then again come back over here. So the expectations that I saw was search will filter the type 1. Search will filter the list as one type, and that was met. The plus saves a method to my project, and that was met. My project counter shows the running total, and that was also met. The confusions which were appearing is attitudinal filter label unsure what it means, how it is different from behavioral. Each method repeats under every phase in the my project section, so it was confusing. My project read as accidental duplicates. Errors. So the diary study, it resulted in 0 out of 97 and there was a blank screen. So it did not help me recover from that error. I didn't know how to recover from the error. No results message, which implied no recovery possibility. For a second, I thought the page had broken. So these were the direct quotes which came from my session. The workarounds which I saw the user made was abandoned search after the blank screen, fell back to browsing the filters to find the method. Diary-like method was selected. So each verbalization, what I did was I tagged them, then I mapped it to its cause on the interface, and then I give suggestions like what kind of changes need to be made in the interface next. So let's look at analyzing the Think-Aloud data. First, I will do the code verbalization. Search filters plus saves it, counter updates, which means it is met. I have attitudinal label which was unclear as a method, and I can put some question mark over there or other help, or I can have an onboarding screen which explains to me the difference between attitudinal and behavioral. Then the error diary study, it was silent about what the error was, blank, 0 results on the screen. So I can build in a responder over there to help people to recover from what kind of error might have happened. I might also give this option that as they are searching, so they type in diary, as each and every word gets typed in, the search list slowly keeps reducing, and then even before you have committed a spelling mistake, or like in this particular context, actually the method is called as diary studies, you could have figured that out that okay, it's not study, it is studies. I also saw that there was a abandoned search because the diary study did not work, and as a result the user went for a fallback option, browse through the list of methods. I am also able to find the mental model gaps, so expected a no results message and a way to recover. got a blank screen instead. So that's where the mental model was broken. Expected a flat shortlist, methods repeat under each phase when I was in the project phase. So assume that diary study would exist and be searchable. That was yet another mental model that if I go to the search, I can go and search for it. Then I will, so when I look at this, okay, there is a search button and people know their specific method, they will go and search for it. I can clearly say that on that mental model, the interface worked well. Now I will be turning all these findings into certain fixes. So as I told you, I can have empty result state with a clear reset. I can deduplicate the project list, tag phases instead. I can clarify attitudinal and align the filters. I can consider synonyms or fuzzy search for terms like diary. So the common pitfalls in a Think-Aloud protocol, which you need to be careful about and look at it. The common pitfalls in Think-Aloud technique are, which needs to be taken care of, do not tend to help or explain when the user is struggling, because the whole idea is you need to capture those struggles in order to be able to redesign your interface so that a novice user in future does not face those struggles. Do not go for over prompting or asking leading questions. Prompt only when the user falls completely silent and only with neutral and non-leading nudges. Ignoring reactivity in concurrent sessions. Remember that speaking aloud can subtly change behavior. Interpret the data with that in your mind. So it's always a good idea also do a recording of video recording where you are able to capture their facial expressions or their body language. Giving step-by-step task instructions should not be done. You should give them a goal-based task wherein multiple tasks are there. This helps you in understanding whether in practice the user will be able to achieve the goal or not. Taking a rationalized retrospective account as fact. Weigh memory-based narration carefully and read it against the recording in case you are going for retrospective think aloud. Usually try to go ahead with concurrent think aloud as much as possible. Only in case of a very complicated task where it might be very difficult for the user to do concurrent think aloud, try to go for a retrospective think aloud technique. So thinking aloud may be the single most valuable usability engineering method if done properly. So hearing users reason aloud reveals the way behind every action, every thought, their mental model. So the key takeaways from this particular lecture are: think aloud makes invisible reasoning observable. The method's defining strength is this. There are two variants available, concurrent and retrospective. Make the choice appropriately. Go for concurrent as much as possible. Go for neutral moderation. The moderator's job is to keep users talking without leading, helping, or judging them. Why, not just what. Verbal protocols explain the causes behind usability problems, guiding precise fixes. So that brings us to the end of this particular lecture. Here are some of the references that you can go through, and I will see you next when we will be talking about cognitive walkthrough. See you then.